So today we will start a new chapter where we will talk about eigenvalues and eigenspaces. Let me first give a series of definition. So we consider a n times n matrix, a scalar lambda is an eigenvalue for A if there exists a non-zero vector V such that AV equal lambda dot V. Such a vector is called an eigenvector associated to the eigenvalue lambda. So remark is that V is an eigenvector associated to lambda is actually the same thing as to say that V is non-zero, is not a zero vector, and V belongs actually to the null space of the matrix A minus lambda identity. Now I would like to so that would be remark 1, and I would like to make a remark 2, is that lambda, a scalar, is an eigenvalue for A if and only if the matrix A minus lambda identity is not invertible. Is not invertible, so there is more than one solution, okay? And in particular, this is equivalent to say that, so this is to say basically that 0, 0, 0 is not the only solution of this. So there is not a unique solution. There exists some vector which is non-zero and which will be in the null space. And of course, we know that the matrix is not invertible is equivalent to say that the determinant of A minus lambda identity will be 0, will be 0. Okay. So, an example. If we take, for example, the identity matrix, so IN, then INV is equal to V for any V, isn't it? So 1 is the only eigenvalue. 1 is the only eigenvalue, and the set of eigenvectors associated to 1 is actually equal to r to the n, so the vectors, all the vectors of Rn, except the vector 0, which is never an eigenvector. All right. Now, the determinant of A, so here A is identity matrix. So identity minus lambda identity. So we will get matrix like 1 minus lambda, 0, and here 0, 1 minus lambda, then 0, etc. And so you can see that it will be, in fact, a diagonal matrix, and therefore the determinant is the product of the entries on the diagonal, and we will find 1 minus lambda to the power n, okay? If we started from n times n matrix. All right. Now, we have the following theorem. Let A be a n times n matrix. Then lambda is an eigenvalue for A if and only if P subscript A of lambda, so equals 0, with PA of X is by definition the determinant of the matrix A minus X times the identity. So this is a matrix with some variable X, and the determinant will be an element of R bracket X, so it will be in fact a polynomial, okay, that we can evaluate at the scalar lambda. And to say that lambda is an eigenvalue is just to say that this polynomial will be 0. So the proof is actually here, as you can see, because the evaluation of this polynomial at lambda is just that of A minus lambda I. And so this is a reformulation of the remark 2, in fact. So the proof is just a reformulation. Of remark 2. Okay. Now, in general, how do we find the eigenvalues? Let me give you an example. Okay, imagine that we want to find the eigenvalues of a square matrix 2 by 2, 1, 2, 4, and 3. Okay. So if A is a n times n matrix, then the determinant of A minus X times identity of order n is a polynomial which will be of degree n, and of the form so PAX equal, so it will always start by minus x to the power n. Then you will have the trace of A times minus x to the power n minus 1, then 3 dots, and then it will finish always by, so the constant coefficient will be the determinant of the matrix. Now we need to explain this term. So this is by definition, so imagine that A is a matrix with a coefficient Aij, then the trace will be the sum for I equal 1 to n of the diagonal term. So we will do the sum of the Aii terms. Now, sketch of proof of this is the following. So for any pattern P of A minus X identity, the product of P is a polynomial of degree less or equal to n. You remember the pattern is a choice of n entries, and so when you multiply this term, you will have at least, at most, a polynomial of order less or equal to n, which implies that the polynomial PA of x has degree less or equal to n. This we are sure. Now, we know also that, so let's have a look at the diagonal pattern. The diagonal pattern gives, so we will have A11 minus lambda, okay, minus x, and then we will have A22 minus x, and then we will have ANN minus x, okay? So this is actually equal to minus x to the power n plus A11 plus ANN minus x to the power n minus 1, and plus a polynomial of degree less or equal to n minus 2. Okay? So, what happens when the pattern is not the diagonal one? Okay? So by the diagonal pattern, I mean the pattern where I choose this entry on the diagonal, right? Okay, so for all other patterns, what do we have? At least two entries outside the diagonal two entries are outside the diagonal. If you take any other pattern than the diagonal one, at least one of the two will be outside the diagonal, and so they will give, so outside the diagonal means that you don't have x, okay? You don't have x at these entries, which are outside the diagonal. So they will give polynomial of degree less than n minus 2, less or equal, okay? So the first term are not, so the highest term of this determinant only involves the pattern with the diagonal, and it is of this form, because all the other have entries which are not on the diagonal, and so they will give some polynomial of degree less than n minus 2. And finally, the constant term. Yeah, what is a constant term? So basically, the constant term is by definition PA of where you evaluate x at 0, but if you put here x equals 0, you will find determinant of A. So this explains why the constant term is always the determinant. Okay, so this is the proof of this theorem. All right. Let me come to another definition. So here we are going to define the algebraic multiplicity. Algebraic multiplicity of an eigenvalue. Okay, so what is that? We say that lambda is an eigenvalue for A. So you remember this is an eigenvalue if and only if the evaluation of this polynomial at this lambda is equal to 0. Okay? So we say that lambda is an eigenvalue with algebraic multiplicity k if PA of x is equal to lambda minus x to the power k times some other polynomial g of x with g of lambda not 0. Okay, so whenever you can, this is by definition the characteristic polynomial. Yeah, so I didn't define this, but this we call it the characteristic polynomial. Characteristic polynomial of A. So basically the characteristic polynomial of A allow you to calculate the eigenvalues. Okay, the eigenvalues will be all values that make this polynomial equal to 0 when you evaluate x equal lambda. Okay, and we will say that lambda has algebraic multiplicity k whenever this characteristic polynomial can be written as a product of lambda minus x to the k times some other polynomial such that lambda is not a root of this polynomial g, which means that g of lambda is not 0. Okay. Now, For example, we have seen so you remember the characteristic polynomial of the identity was 1 minus x to the power n, okay? And therefore you can say that 1 is an eigenvalue for the identity matrix with algebraic multiplicity n, actually, okay? Right. Okay, now what about the number of eigenvalues in general? So we have the following theorem concerned with the number of eigenvalues. Okay, so first of all, a n times n matrix has at most n real eigenvalues. Second fact is that if n is odd means 1, 3, 5, etc. So then A has at least one eigenvalue. Third fact is that if n is even, then A needs not to have eigenvalues. Okay, so why is that? Well, basically the proof comes from the, okay, so for example, this comes from the fundamental theorem of algebra. Theorem of algebra, the fundamental theorem of algebra. So what does it say? It says that any polynomial with real coefficients has n complex roots counted with multiplicities. Okay, so if you go in the complex number, then any polynomial of degree n will have exactly n roots, but of course they can be the same. Okay, for example, you can have and actually if you have one root which is complex, purely complex, then actually its conjugate is also complex. So for example, if I is a root, then minus I is a root. Okay, so you have these different facts on the polynomials with real coefficient, and so actually 2 and 3 comes from this fundamental theorem of algebra, plus the fact that complex roots come in pairs. So if Z is a root, then the conjugate Z bar is also a root. Okay, so for example, if n is even, you can have I and minus as I as a root, but therefore you will have no real number that makes this polynomial equal to 0. The only number that will make this polynomial to 0 will be a complex number. And therefore, for our semester, it will not be considered as an eigenvalue. Okay, an eigenvalue for us will be always a real number. So, another example. So I start with A equal 1, 0, 0, 0, 0, minus 1, 0, 1, 0. Okay. Now, the polynomial, characteristic polynomial of this matrix is just obtained by putting on the diagonal terms this minus x. Okay. So this will be the determinant of the matrix 1 minus x, 0, 0, 0, minus x, and then minus 1, and then 0, 1, and minus x. Right? Okay. So here, as you can see, this is not a triangular matrix, so I need to do some effort to calculate this. Okay, so for example, I can use Gaussian elimination or operation on elementary operation on rows, okay, to modify this. For example, I switch row 2 and row 3. Then I will get determinant of 1 minus x, 0, 0, this is not modified, and then I have 0, 1, and minus x, this will be my pivot, and then 0, minus x, and minus 1. Okay, then after that, I will use my pivot to put a 0 on this row. Okay, so how to do this? I'm just going to modify row 3, and I will do row 3 plus x times row 2. If I do that, I get 1 minus x, 0, 0, 0, 1 minus x, and then 0, 0, minus 1 minus x to the square. Okay, so I have to calculate this determinant. So observe that the determinant here, by this operation, is modified by a minus 1, okay, minus 1. And here, the determinant is not modified by this operation. Now, we deduce that the determinant of this will be minus the determinant of this, which is a triangular. This is a triangular matrix, so I don't need to go to the RREF form here, okay? Because to compute the determinant, I'm happy enough to calculate the determinant of a triangular matrix. So this will be just minus, this is minus, this minus is coming from this swapping, and then I take the product of the diagonal entries. Therefore, I find 1 minus x times 1 times minus 1 minus x squared. Okay, and so this is yeah, I can put this minus outside and I find finally 1 minus x and times 1 plus x squared. Right. And so in this case, so you see, what are the real numbers that can make this polynomial equal to 0? Well, there is none, because 1 plus x squared equals 0 means that x squared equals minus 1. This never happens in the real number. Okay? So this is a good example where here you cannot have a real number cancelling out this. And so we deduce that 1 is the only eigenvalue with algebraic multiplicity 1. Okay? With algebraic multiplicity 1. All right. Now, what about the eigenvectors? How do you find the eigenvectors? All right. So far we have given the method to calculate the eigenvalues. How do you calculate the eigenvalues? So the summary of this first part was, in fact, you calculate the characteristic polynomial, which is the determinant of a minus x times this identity, okay? And then you are looking for the root, the real number that makes this polynomial equal to 0, okay? So this number will be, the number of such root will be always less or equal to the degree, okay? And as we have seen, if the degree is even, then sometimes you will have no eigenvalues. Okay? Now, to each eigenvalue, you can associate some eigenvector. And how do you find the set of all possible eigenvectors? Well, let's give a definition. So we consider A n times n matrix, and lambda an eigenvalue for A. Then the eigenspace associated to lambda. So we will use the following notation. We will call it E lambda is the null space of the matrix A minus lambda times identity. All right, so remember, in particular, E lambda will be a subspace of R to the n, okay? Because by definition, the null space of this is a set of vectors such that A minus lambda in V equals 0, okay? So V is a vector with coordinate x1, xn, okay? So it's an element, it's an n-tuple, it's an element of R to the n. And the set of all such vectors will be E lambda. So it's a subspace of Rn, and by definition, we have that E lambda is nothing else than the set of all eigenvectors associated to lambda, and you add one vector, which is the 0 vector. Okay? If you add the 0 vector to this eigenvectors, you will get the eigenspace. Okay? So the new word is eigenspace. And this will be always a subspace of the vector space R to the n. Okay? So whenever you start with an n times n matrix. Therefore, finding the eigenvectors amount to calculate an eigenspace, a null space. Okay, and to calculate a null space, as you remember, this amount to calculate, in fact, to use Gaussian elimination and to find the set of solution of the system of linear equation. Okay.